The scene opens with a shot of the American flag. We're in front of the White House, with visitors walking by. Two guards are chatting in front of the entrance. They're not paying much attention to the cars driving past. A deep rumbling in the background interrupts their conversation. The concrete tears up in half, creating a hole in the ground. Two identical, muscular villains with blue skin get up and dust themselves off. It's the Mahler twins. They want to target the US president, but just eliminating him is not enough. They want to make a spectacle out of it as a warning. They fire at the defense weapons and shatter them with only a few hits, laughing. Just as they're about to smash one of the guard, 7 superheroes fall from the sky, coming to the rescue. They're Red Rush, War Woman, the Immortal, Darkwing, Aquarius, Martian Man, and Green Ghost, Guardians of the Globe. The Immortal gives out orders to the others as he gets in a fight with one of the two twins. The group tries to get all of the citizens to safety. Darkwing accidentally ends up stuck under a tank. Just as he thinks he'll get crushed by the metal, a new superhero swoops in to save him. It's Omni-Man, an underdog superhero who works alone. The group reunites once they've made sure all of the citizens have been evacuated. It's time to take down the two villains. The two of them are no match for the 7 superheroes, and they defeat them by using their powers together. We cut to a young man reading a superhero magazine. It's Mark Grayson, a teenager and the son of Omni-Man. He's on the toilet, and his mom, Debbie Grayson, is impatiently knocking on the door. She comes in anyway, to his annoyance. While he's eating breakfast, Mark is watching the news, where the fight we saw play out earlier is reported. Omni-Man flies to the door, still wearing his superhero costume. His civilian identity is Nolan Grayson. His wife greets him with a kiss, and Mark, disgusted, disappears upstairs to get ready for school. Mark leaves for school. He's annoyed that his superpowers still haven't kicked in like it should have, as the son of a Vitramite like his dad. We are now at Mark's school. He's getting his textbooks from his locker while William Clockwell, his best friend, is reading an article about the White House attack. As they try to make plans for later, they're distracted by Todd, a bully trying to hit on Amber, who is refusing his advances. She's a strong girl with a spunky look. Mark steps forward to defend her, but Todd immediately punches him in the face. Before a fight can ensue, Amber kicks Todd between the legs, and he runs away. The girl thanks him and walks away. We see Mark later in the day, at his job at Burger Mart. He's taking out bags of trash, struggling. As he's about to throw one of them in the dumpster, the bag flies out a lot farther than he expected. Mark immediately understands he's finally developing his superpowers, and grins. Now home, Mark tells his parents about his superpowers. They're a lot less happy about it than he expected, but they force themselves to appear excited. At night, Mark is tossing and turns in bed. We see a flashback from when he was a kid, back when his dad revealed to him that he was Omni-Man, and came from a distant planet, Viltrum. He explains to him that the planet is a lot similar to Earth, as are its inhabitants to humans. The difference is that Viltrumites can fly, move at super speed, and have superior strength. As a half-Viltrumite, when he hits puberty, Mark should start developing superpowers. The next day, we see Mark get up early for his first superpowers lesson with his dad. Nolan's lesson is hard on Mark, because he still can't control his flying that well, and messes up when they try to land. They practice fighting, but Mark is sent to the floor with only one hit. Later, they get home, and Mark looks bruised up and disappointed that he didn't do good. He walks to his bedroom, while his parents argue downstairs, wondering if Mark is really ready to learn how to be a superhero. The next day, Mark is with William, looking distracted. Todd, the bully from before, was waiting for him to get his revenge and beat him up. Mark dares Todd to hit him, which he does, while all of the students watch in shock. Todd hits him harder and harder, but Mark is in control this time, and stays steeled. The bully, frustrated, calls him a freak and ends up walking away. We switch to a view of the city. Mark decided to try his hand at being a superhero, and quickly threw together a costume to hide his identity. He's flying through the city until he spots a crime scene. Below, in the streets, criminals in suits are running away from a bank with bags full of money, shooting at the cops. Mark soars through the streets, successfully fighting them and taking them out. The villain asks him who he is, but Mark hasn't figured out his superhero identity yet. Omni-Man appears and calls his outfit ridiculous. They fly away from the scene together, and Nolan scolds his son for jumping to being a superhero without the proper training. Even if he successfully stopped the bad guys, Mark made a lot more damage than necessary. Just like he did earlier with the bully, Mark asks his dad to hit him. He wants to prove to him that this time, he can take it. Even if Omni-Man refuses, Mark insists, angry that his dad thinks he's not strong enough. But as his dad looks at him sadly, Mark's anger turns to sadness. He's scared that he won't be able to become like his dad, which is what he's always wanted. They hug, and Omni-Man asks Mark to follow him. He has an idea to make it up to him. The two fly to the tailor shop. They enter a secret cave inside, where an old man is sewing with precision, surrounded by computer screens. He's not a regular tailor, he's Art Rosenbaum, a man who also builds indestructible suits for superheroes in secret. Art makes Mark try a random suit, but he isn't satisfied. He wants something more iconic. For that to happen, he has to decide on a name first. The next day, Mark and his dad play baseball in the sky, but he notices that Mark seems distracted and tired. He admits that he's scared of not living up to expectations. Nolan tells him that it won't be easy, but that he believes in him. Unlike other normal teenagers, Mark is actually invincible. Mark looks thoughtful. We see Mark rush back to Art Rosenbaum's secret cave. He's found a name and is ready to make his costume. Next, we see a shot of the city. Mark is sitting on a crane, admiring his brand new costume. He feels cool and confident. After he flies through the city for fun, he witnesses an explosion hit one of the skyscrapers. This time, he knows he has to go and help. The supervillain Kilkennon stands in front of a barrage of cop cars, all shooting at him from a distance. But it's useless. He fires off a red laser and causes an explosion. Before he can hit a second car, Invincible arrives at the scene and defeats the villain. For the first time, Mark introduces himself as Invincible. The last part of the episode is about the Guardians of the Globe, which we met at the beginning of the episode. We see them all in their civilian life until they get an urgent call on their watch. They have to band together for an important mission. Darkwing is the last one to arrive, joining them all. None of them know who called them here. Just as Omni-Man comes out of the shadow to punch the Immortal, Red Rush pushes him out of the way thanks to his super speed. A fight breaks out between Omni-Man and the Guardians of the Globe. Omni-Man fights all of them one by one, overpowering them easily. Under horrified stares, he eliminates every single one of them. As the Immortal, almost gone, asks Omni-Man why he's doing this, Omni-Man without answering. On episode 2, we open on a view of the United Kingdom flag. This time, we're in front of Buckingham Palace, where the Queen lives. The guard from the first episode is with his stepson, admiring the building. Suddenly, a rock falls from the sky. Only the son spots it, and he pushes the other out of the way. Red liquid spills everywhere, but we discover that it isn't blood, but tomato sauce from crushed Burger Mart burgers. The scene fades back to what we witnessed at the end of episode 1, the bodies of all the Guardians of the Globe, eliminated gruesomely by Omni-Man. He's amongst them, passed out after the fight. The door to the cave is busted open with explosives. Shadowy, invisible figures walk in. They're from the Global Defense Agency. Paramedics rush in and take in all the damages, shocked. They take away the bodies and send Omni-Man to the emergencies. We cut to the Graysons' house. Debbie goes through her morning, worried that Nolan hasn't come home. As she's about to leave for work, she's stopped by two men in suits. She immediately knows something terrible must have happened. Mark and Debbie are brought inside the Special Intense Care Unit of the Global Defense Agency, where the assistant to the leader, Donald Ferguson, guides them. Debbie is on edge. Mark is surprised that he's never heard of the GDA before, but just like superheroes, they're meant to keep their identity secret to keep the world safe. Mark and Debbie are led to Nolan's hospital room. He's unconscious, hooked up to drips and a monitor. Mark wonders who did this to him, and an old man with a damaged face walks out of the shadow, answering that they don't know yet, but that they will take their revenge when they find out. He holds out his hand to Mark and introduces himself as Cecil Stedman, the government agent in charge of the GDA. Cecil tells them the news: all of the Guardians of the Globe are gone. Debbie starts crying, but quickly pulls herself together. She wants to stay with Nolan and help take care of him. Mark overhears Donald and Cecil discussing an attack happening downtown. Since most of the superheroes have been eliminated, he knows he has to get in the action. Back to the city, Invincible flies in. We see that a giant portal has been opened, where an army of aliens and robots walk through to attack the city. The fight is uneven, the aliens having far more advanced technology. Pumping himself up, Mark flies closer to the invasion and orders the aliens to stop, but humans get pulverized all around him, and he freezes up in terror. An old woman is trying to drag herself to safety, just as an alien is about to pulverize her. Mark reacts in a split second and saves the woman, but only realizes then that she's been shot and is bleeding out. Meanwhile, the alien he hit wants to take his revenge and climbs into a tank to fire at Mark. Just as the shot is about to hit, a force field forms. The shot bounces on it, away from Mark. A girl flies out of the sky in a pink superhero costume. It's the famous Adam Eve. She tells the aliens they have to go, before being joined by 3 more superheroes: Robot, Duplicate, and Rexplode. The 4 of them are the teen team. They use their powers to fight the aliens, while Robot, with his machine calculation powers, is able to predict what's about to happen, giving them an advantage. Adam Eve tells Mark that they can handle it, and to get the woman to a hospital. But Adam Eve is wrong. After Invincible leaves, the team quickly gets overwhelmed. Civilians have now escaped safely, but the team of superhero is at the mercy of the growing alien army. As they're about to shoot at the defenseless teen team, all of the aliens suddenly start to shrivel up and fall to the floor, as if sick. They have to retreat. The next day, at school, Mark is like a ghost. He's worried about everything and not paying attention to anyone, even his best friend William. He tells him that his dad got attacked, and William tries to offer support. But Mark is soon distracted when he spots Eve Wilkins. He recognizes her red hair and blue eyes from yesterday. She's Adam Eve. Mark goes to talk to her and thank her for saving him yesterday. Eve realizes who he is. Even though she teases him about his superhero name, she also offers to talk about the attack of yesterday, noticing that Mark is pretty shaken up. They sit outside the school and talk about the superhero life. Eve reassures him. She says that she used to be just as scared as him when she was just starting out. She invites him to meet the teen team after school. We cut to the city where the aliens attacked. Now that government agents are busy clearing the streets, Cecil is here assessing the damages in the company of Robot. Thanks to Robot's knowledge of alien languages, we learn that the aliens are called the Flaxons. The robot also understands that the reason they left is that time runs faster where they come from. They had to run off because they were dying of old age. Cecil teleports away effortlessly, back at the Guardians of the Globe HQ, where forensics are analyzing the scene where they all died. Cecil is frustrated with the lack of progress and orders everyone to leave. He already knows that someone else is here. The demon detective, Damien Darkblood, reveals himself. He touches the blood of the victims and is able to see visions of the murders. Cecil agrees to have him help with the investigation and leaves. After school, Eve and Mark, now in their superhero costumes, have a flying race until they reach the Teen Team HQ. We get to know the other a bit more. Rexplode is a very cocky superhero, apparently dating Eve. Duplicate and Robot are friendlier. Robot asks if they can count on Invincible if the Flaxons attack again. Mark hesitates, but agrees to help. The next day, at school, William and Mark eat lunch together. William wonders if something will happen between Mark and Eve, but Eve gestures to him from afar, signaling to him that they have to go. He leaves William alone. Amber, the girl that Mark defended against Todd the bully, joins him. She's also curious about Mark and Eve. William tells her that Mark is totally single. Adam, Eve, and Invincible join the rest of Teen Team. Rexplode is immediately jealous that they arrive together, but Robot asks them to focus on the matter at hand. The Flaxons are back, and this time, they don't seem to be dying of old age. The Teen Team attack them, but the aliens' superior technology once again gives them an advantage. Adam Eve protects the civilians with her force field, trying to get them to safety. Despite their efforts, all of the heroes end up disarmed or immobilized. The Flaxon King is about to shoot Eve, which makes Mark mad enough for him to pulverize the restraints the Flaxons have put on him. With incredible strength, he fights the king and saves Eve. The magnetic wristband that kept the Flaxon King from aging has been destroyed in the fight, and he starts to age. The robot immediately notices and tells the other heroes that they need to aim for their wristbands. With that new information, the heroes get back into action and are able to overpower the Flaxons. They have to retreat once more. Rex says how impressed and scared he is at the strength Mark showed when he saved Eve, but Mark gets a phone call and has to leave. It's about his dad. He's finally recovered enough to be awake and to come home. Mark joins his parents at the hospital, finally able to tell his dad everything that's happened. As they leave, Mark wants to check on Maya, the old woman he saved during the first attack, but he learns that they couldn't save her. Disheartened, Mark walks away. Nolan asks an assistant for his costume back, with an aggressively that makes Debbie frown. Now that Nolan is back, he's started to give Mark his superhero training again. They're interrupted by Cecil, who's here to tell them that an aggressive alien they've fought before is about to attack Earth. With the Guardians of the Globe gone, Cecil is forced to ask for the help of Omni-Man, even though he's still recovering. Mark says he'll stop the invader instead. For the first time, Mark is flying to space. He holds his breath before leaving the stratosphere. Alan the alien attacks him from behind, and a fight breaks out. They're able to talk telepathically, Alan making fun of how little fight he's got in him, until he realizes this is an Omni-Man, the superhero he fought 3 years ago. Once Alan realizes that Invincible has no idea what's going on, he stops the fight and tells him to sit on the moon with him. Mark is taken aback, but listens. Alan explains that he's an evaluation officer from the Coalition of Planets, here to check that a small planet like he has a hero capable of defending it from invasions and such. Mark is very confused, but Alan insists that his planet signed up for the program. He pulls out a screen, where the planet is labeled as Uraf. Alan realizes he's made a mistake and is on the wrong planet, and leaves peacefully. Back at Grayson's house, Cecil is about to go but asks Omni-Man to tell him everything that happened before he passed out one more time. Nolan says he got a distress call from the Guardians, but that when he arrived, everything seemed fine. Then, someone attacked, and he passed out. That's it. Cecil doubts him, but has no proof that contradicts his story. He leaves. The next day, at school, Todd the bully shoves Mark against the locker, but he doesn't want to fight again. He asks Mark if he'd like Amber's phone number. She blackmailed Todd into doing this after she found old embarrassing photos of him. Mark accepts, but before he can try and call her, he's called by the Teen Team. The Flaxons are back once more, stronger than ever. Since time passes faster for them, they've had big technological advancements since the last time. Robot analyzes the situation and concludes that they have no chance of keeping the city, but the heroes refuse to give up. This time the Flaxen King is wearing a giant robot suit and easily pummels Invincible to the ground. Mark thinks he's about to pass away, but Omni-Man rushes in to save him. He throws the king, which prompts all of the Flaxens to fire at him at once. As the smoke dissipates, Omni-Man is left completely untouched. Flying in, he easily takes out most of the army. Left without their king and scared, the Flaxens run away and leave through their portal. The Flaxen King refuses to give up, challenging Omni-Man to a fight. The hero charges at him and pushes him through the portal with himself. The portal closes, the two of them are gone. Mark screams for his dad, and the rest of the teen team realizes that Mark is Omni-Man's son. He gets home, all bruised, worried to announce to his mom that Nolan is gone again. But she seems fine about it. Apparently, this is a normal day for a superhero. We cut to Nolan, now on the planet of the Flaxen. With incredible strength, he wrecks their buildings and destroys most of their technology. Just as Debbie said, Nolan is back in time for dinner. Behind them, the news report on TV announces that the Guardians of the Globe are all dead.